good morning once again, and in today's class for the chapter of diversity living organism, we are discussing kingdom Animalia, and we have reached up to the higher phylum of the kingdom Animalia, that is phylum Chordata. Yes, good morning. And in phylum Chordata there are three subphylums: Urochordata, Protochordata, Cephalochordata, because Cephalochordata and Protochordata, they are of the same category. And then there is a subphylum of Vertebrata. Vertebrata is the member of kingdom Animalia, in which the nerve cord is enclosed within a bony structure, that is the vertebral column. Along with that, they have a vertebral column, and with vertebral column they have a well developed central nervous system. And when we say the central nervous system is well developed, it means this central nervous system is developed into the components like brain and the spinal cord, and the brain is enclosed. The brain is enclosed within the brain box, what we call as skull, and that is also known as cranium. So there are two distinguishing features in this subphylum: the presence of a vertebral column or backbone, and the presence of a cranium, that is the brain box. Because of the presence of vertebral column, they are called as vertebrata. So because of the presence of cranium, they are also called as craniata. Right. So there are two names for this subphylum. It could be also called as vertebrata or craniata. The reason is vertebrata because of the presence of vertebral column, and craniata because of the presence of the cranium or the brain box, that is what we call as the skull. Along with that, they have this is point number 3rd feature for this phylum. They have well developed circulatory system. And this circulatory system comprises of heart and blood vessels. The type of heart which we discuss here, so heart is of different types. They have a 2-chambered heart, they may have a 3-chambered heart, they may have 3.5-chambered heart, or they may have 4-chambered heart also. This is the possibility for the type of heart they have in their circulatory system. Now, what are the examples for these organisms with these type of heart? So 2-chambered heart is found in the case of fishes. That is what we call as in the category of Pisces. Then 3-chambered heart is found in the case of amphibians. Example is frog, etc., like organism, right? And then 3.5-chambered heart is found in the case of the category called as reptilia. In reptilia we will be including the snakes, the lizard, the salamander, etc. But here there is an exception. Exception is of the crocodile. Crocodile is a reptile, but they don't contain 3.5-chambered heart. The heart is 4-chambered, and the 4-chambered heart organism are the category of aves. Aves, what we call as birds, and the mammals. And in mammals we include all those organisms who have external ear and the mammary gland. Example here will come for the human beings. These are some of the basic features which we will be seeing in the subphylum of vertebrata. Including that, the 4th feature is for the type of reproduction. So in terms of reproduction, these all organisms, they show sexual mode of reproduction, and they may be viviparous or they may be oviparous also. If they give birth to their young ones, they are viviparous organisms, and if they lay eggs, and then through the laid eggs the young ones are hatched, then they are called as oviparous organisms. They show sexual dimorphism, means male and female individuals are distinct. So this character we will be writing after rubbing some part from the board. Right. Satisfied, students? The fourth point was regarding the mode of reproduction. Except that if we try to see the excretory system, for mode of reproduction they show sexual dimorphism. Now sexual dimorphism means the male and female are distinct. Distinct means they are separated. There will be a male parent and there will be a female parent, and then they show basically external type of fertilization, but in some exceptions we will be finding internal fertilization also. Then type of excretion. So excretion is by kidneys. There are a pair of kidneys. In all the members of subphylum Vertebrata or Craniata, they have a pair of kidney, and the kidney is responsible for the excretion of the waste. What type of waste is being produced? So the waste, they depend upon the type of habitat the organism is living. For example, in case of aves and in case of reptilia, these are the members of the vertebrata, right? In aves and reptilia, the excretory waste product is uric acid, and they are called as, these all are called as they are producing uric acid, they are called as uricotalic organisms. Now in case of fishes, what we call as the Pisces, they produce ammonia as the excretory product. So they are, this is one category of uricotalic. Example are these. Now the next category for the ammonia releasing organisms, the name is for the group of fishes or Pisces, and they are called as ammonotalic organisms, right? And then there is one more category of organism, this we will be writing over here now, and that is for the mammals. And if you talk about mammals, they are excreting which product? They are excreting urea, and urea producing organisms are called as ureotalic organisms, right? The development is direct. Means the young ones are produced directly without a larval stage, and in terms of their mode of nutrition, they are heterotrophic organisms. The mode of nutrition is heterotrophic. And which heterotrophic? Most commonly it is the holozoic mode of nutrition, where a complex food is being consumed and it is being simplified to form the simple components in the digestive system. The digestive system is complete. And they all are deuterostomes. The vertebrates are deuterostomes. Means in these organisms, the blastopore first develops into anus and then they form mouth. These are some of the characteristic features for the subphyla Vertebrata or Craniata. This is all for today. Thank you and have a nice day.